I'm not going to say that I told you so, but I wasn't wrong. Bagged and boarded. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm talking about why I made a bunch of mistakes and I am never spec buying comic books ever again. Guys, so now on to the main topic of spec buying. Guys, now that WandaVision's over, thanks to WandaVision, there was a ton of books that got brought up for speculation, which I'm going to get into. And granted, I was one of those people and I fed into some false leads and rumors and ended up costing me a little bit of money. But right off the bat, let's go ahead and cover this book right here. This is the first appearance of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Right now, this book is super hot. Like a 3.5 of this book is about $4,000. My copy is a 4.0. It is restored. It has slight color touch added to it, but it's signed by Stan Lee. To me, the Stan Lee signature kind of offsets the restoration. Plus, if I wanted to, I could send this in and get the restoration removed. Because of WandaVision, this book has grown to an exponential value. Let's cover some bases from where spectating on comic books came from. So in 2020, we had, the COVID outbreak and everybody was quarantined, and, the hobby, any hobby, pick a hobby, it blew up. It had people joining it, being involved with it. Every hobby community, doesn't matter what it is, shot up. Because people didn't have anything better to do. You couldn't go out to concerts, you couldn't go to movies, and then you get into the app Key Collector. If you don't utilize Key Collector, which if you're watching this video, you probably use Key Collector. I use it. I'm not going to sit here and bash it. Key Collector is amazing. It's a great tool, especially when you go to shops or you're looking through a long box or a short box. Anytime you're flipping through a run of things and you're not sure what key issues those are, you can just pull up Key Collector on your phone and it has all that grunt work done for you. Favorite thing about Key Collector, though, is not about the specific issues, but you can go and you can type in an artist. Like, say I'm on a Neil Adams kick right now. I love Neil Adams. So you can go there, go to categories, type in Neil Adams, and then it'll pull up all of his kind of top hits, more or less. It's not going to pull up every cover, but it'll pull up for him. And then this covers to other artists and writers. So you can pull up Jock or Francisco Mantina or Gabriel Del Auto, Jim Lee, any notable artists, and even some up-and-comings. If they had a variant, odds are it's going to be in this list. Their Key Collector also partners with Comic Tom. That's right, comic fan. Comic Tom. I enjoy Comic Tom. I like that this is a man who can be passionate about the business. He can be passionate about the hobby. And I find myself looking forward to the Information Weekly. And this is where we're going to start feeding into Spec. Because with Key Collector and Comic Tom, they're partners. So as soon as Comic Tom releases a video, top 10 keys, right? So whenever this video is made, you have about a 6-hour interval of whatever's on this list to go get. Afterwards, the price is going to go nuts most of the time. And Marvel books right now just keep going up and up and up. Look at Giant Size X-Men. Even this book. This book is currently on Key Collector and Comic Tom's list. Another book is Silver Surfer 7. I did not speculate on buying this. So what I mean by that is when WandaVision started gaining momentum, a lot of people went wild talking about Mephisto. I even made a video about how this is the Marvel Silver Age key that you don't need to buy. Link. I was right. I'm not going to say that I told you so, but I wasn't wrong. With this Mephisto book, I didn't buy this. I just happened to luck into a trade right before all that momentum going. And what I should have done is, like you would in, let's just say, poker. I should have cashed out and walked away when this was at its peak, which it has room to grow. There is potential, but not like it was, right? So my plan was to wait till the value of this hit around about $2,000 and I was going to trade this for a 9.0 ASM 129, which is first appearance of Punisher. If you're not aware, I was definitely going to trade this book for a first Punisher. Talking about Disney Plus shows and speculation, if you're thinking about getting a Journey into Mystery 85, the first appearance of Loki, due to the Disney Plus Loki show that's coming out, because WandaVision had a massive success, a safe bet to get Loki, right? Because that's an established character. 100%. You should definitely invest in this. This is a huge key issue. Major Marvel villain, as well as other appearances. Plus, this is the third appearance of Thor. It's a solid key. You can't go wrong. If you want to spec buy, you should definitely go ahead and go for Loki. It may go up dramatically. Look at how X-Men 4 is currently doing with WandaVision. This could go through the roof, but this is a little bit more of a secure investment instead of a roll of the dice. So before I get into why I messed up and will never go all in on speculation, we're going to talk about Avengers 55. So right before, I want to say the final episode of WandaVision, I started thinking about, you know, how cool it would be if, and spoiler alert, if White Vision came back and was actually Ultron. I started seeing all these posts on social media of other people supporting that, so I was like, it has to happen. I was under the impression that James Vader, whatever. I was under the impression that he was coming back for a role or a cameo or, you know, a flashback sequence. And ultimately, where we're at now, that never happened. You can still get this book relatively cheap. I know for this 7.0 grade that I have in front of me, I paid $150 for it. Not a steal of the century by no means, but if you look at the facts of it, Ultron is an well-established Marvel villain. He's already hit its peak because they made the Age of Ultron movie. It's not going to top what it was prior to that movie. August of 1968. It's a great Silver Age key. You have Adam, Legend of the Blue Marvel #1. This book is why I will never spectate buy again. Not only did I get this raw copy, I also have in transit a CGC 9.4. In the span of a week, due to a rumor that turned out to be false, I went nuts and got involved in 2 copies of this book when I could have easily spent money and time looking elsewhere. Now, a cool fact about this book is Kevin Grievous, who was a character in Underworld. If you haven't seen Underworld, watch it. It's a great vampire versus a werewolf movie. But one of the main characters in that movie, he wrote this comic book. He also starred in that movie. And that being one of my favorite movies. And I'm more lenient to being okay with the fact of going so hog wild over this book. This also has a scarce print run. It wasn't picked up by that many people, so it's got a low distribution number. Well, not supposed to be. Blue Marvel was hinted that it could have ended up being a cameo for the astronaut friend, which never happened. If you want to pick up this book right now, you can go on eBay. There are plenty of copies available right now, unlike 2 weeks ago when there was hardly any at all. You can actually have good choices, especially if you go to my comic shop at the time of filming right now. They have a 9.6 for $1,000, and they also have a 9.2 for around $800. If I was looking into picking this up already graded, I would definitely be considering that 9.2 at $800. Food for thought. Going into speculation again, we have Doctor Doom, because Fantastic Four is coming. They have already announced that there's a Fantastic Four film in development. None of the casting has been made yet. Lord willing, it's better than the other 3 movies they've put out. It's MCU, so again, it's speculation. There are some books where MCU appearances have hurt it. You look at Thor: The Dark World, Malekith is the primary villain. Well, before that movie came out, that book was at an all-time high where it peaked. That movie wasn't good, so then it came down to where it's a fairly cheap book. With Doctor Doom, the same thing I said about Loki. Here is a very, very well-established Marvel villain who Doctor Doom is hands down top 3 Marvel villains of all time. He's like, you could easily do him, Magneto, and probably Red Skull, and there's your top Marvel villains, and you're good to go. If you can find a copy of Fantastic Four #5, it doesn't matter what grade, you should pick it up. It's gonna probably shoot through the roof. You're talking about a book that came out in July of 1962. If you're looking at what is going on with Giant Size X-Men or any of these X-Men books, Fantastic Four, everything has already multiplied across the board in all grades. It's just gonna be worse. With the rate of growth that Marvel Silver Age books have at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if this 1/8 copy of Fantastic Four #5 reached a value of $10,000. It's nuts. So by all means, if you can jump on the boat before it sells, I would jump. Onto why speculation buying is bad. Because there's no certainty and there's no stock. If someone had an idea, put it on social media, other people bought into the idea, but there was nothing being produced to go coincide with it, right? Does that make sense? So you go on eBay and we'll talk about the topic of Tomb of Dracula #10, first appearance of Blade. If you were to go on there and then you see listings of Blade movie coming, Blade MCU, well, if that movie gets canceled and the price on these books have been inflated due to an MCU appearance, and the rug just gets pulled out from underneath you, then the value is going to go down and it's going to be a more affordable key book because now it's not going to be mainstream, so to say. If there's a certain grail, so to speak, that you're chasing, you may want to go ahead and try to get it because the rate of growth is nuts on every title and just about every character. For instance, Punisher. I've been after a Punisher for a while, and he keeps going up. Like, I am almost half tempted to just take a massive, massive loan and spend it on Marvel Silver and flip it in 2 months or a month and just see what the profit is. The point that I want to drive home is just because somebody says that something else is going to be hot, it's almost peer pressuring you into buying certain books. So just because someone says this is going to be hot or you don't want to miss the boat on this one, try your best to pay no mind to that and go for characters that you appreciate and want to invest in on a personal level. For instance, like Mephisto, I enjoy that character. That comic book cover is beautiful. I would have been fine with, if I was buying, I would have been fine with going after Mephisto before I traded to get mine. Same with Punisher. I want Punisher. You look into it as a want versus need. If your end goal is to have an X standard for your collection, then it's a want versus need system. So you have books that you need versus books that you want. Whenever things are being spectated on and things are considered hot, you want it because it's hot, but you don't need it. Also, the reason why I don't do this, but the reason why this comic book is not in a bag and board is because this is how I received it. It came very loose and just bubble wrap. In fact, I have a video of me doing, yeah. This is how it came. It did come bag and board, and I had to order more bags and boards off of Amazon up yet. So as soon as they do, this is going to be the first thing that goes in a bag and board. Didn't know, the woman who sold it didn't know anything about comic books, so I wasn't mad about it. It was just one of those things. It's cool. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as just drop a comment to let me know what kind of books you're going after. What are some books that you're trying to pick up for your collection? I'm always interested in what other collectors are looking for. Top of my want list right now is a 9/8 X-Men 21 vs. Hellboy. Until next time, guys, be safe.